and good morning, everybody. And thank you for joining. Being a long weekend, a lot of time people have been going for the long weekend, and but this reminds me today when I was walking, it's our childhood and the school, college, everything comes back when you think about the Teachers' Day, because I remember that that was a time when you're in 11th, 12th, how you teach, you have to do the cultural programs, and our child never dies, even how old we are. So child is a one place where we have such an emotional connect, and today being a doing the child education program, which is becoming a, I think so, topmost priority for all of us. So last I think so 2 weeks I've been speaking a lot of new people. There are only two queries. One is either how to take care of retirement and regular thing, or how to take care of the child's education. So being today, I wanted to focus on how you have to take care of the child's education, because the child's education's costing is going much bigger than what we all have planned. So, everybody, most of us as a parent, I do have two kids. One has just finished masters from Singapore, working there, and one has just finished the 12th and joined the degree. So I can understand. Of course, I will not focus here now more on the international, even though I will speak on that aspect also, but it's talk about that how we relive our lives with our kids. And that's one of the things, because how to make their dreams as our dreams. And it can be previously it was like a, how you're a doctor or an engineer. I was talking recently to the, of course, when you are in age of 50, you have all kids are in a degree, masters, and all this stuff. So they are the have the best of everything, because they don't have a financial lot of constraint like all of us, our parents was having. Second thing is there is a lot of different skills people have it nowadays. It's not necessary that you have to just go for engineering or the doctor kind of it. There are many more skills, many more jobs, many more things which they can explore. How we can help them, that's what today's session is all about. So today I am focusing more on a child's education planning, which is a more focus. Child education planning is a part of a financial planning where it is like a superset versus subset kind of it, where we should take care there, taking care of your retirement, kids' education. You take care of, most of the time people are taking care of making a assets, house or car, or you take a vacations kind of it. But today we will be focusing more on a child's education. So I'll take care of how the graduation and the masters, how to plan for it, because it's not easy nowadays. Forget it, international, even the national level is also not so cheap. Now I'm just started with my son's degree, and I was when I was filling the form, and I was thinking, my God, it is for a, just for a BBA honors, is it the fees is so high? So the fees are gone so high in the national level itself. How to determine the different goals, investing, and I feel blessed, and of course that's a part of thanks to Anil, we have started the time the kids are born. So there's, if it is not, any day you start the planning is the best planning. So how to take care of the factoring of inflation cost and start executing. So, and most of the time how people perceive the education, that's another point I wanted to do, because when I'm speaking with not many people, they think, no, I have planned XYZ, and when it comes, it is very difficult. So these are the survey insight. Thanks to AI, I have just trying to do some of the Googles and find it across. What are the surveys in Indian parents feel about? So 73% of our parents are underestimate the education cost, which is very true. When we start thinking, I'll give you a simple example of uh, our son itself. It is like a 5 lakhs a month, and I was just estimating at 2.8 to 3 lakhs, because that's what my daughter I have paid 3 years back. So I was thinking, maybe if I do the inflation of 10%, it will be not more than, let us say, 3.5. And when it came to paying the fees, it was almost like a double. So sometimes when we have seen that similar course, similar colleges kind of it. So I'm saying most of us, we underestimate the education cost. 60% prefer FDs over mutual fund, where this is, oh, I have it in a FD and it will take care. So most of the time we have noticed our FD inflation post tax is not even taking care of half of the inflation of a fees. I'm sure when you're thinking about the kids' school fees nowadays itself is 1.5 to 2 lakhs plus sometime it goes. So we forget to take care of the kids' fees most of the time, that okay, this is just a tuition fees, you have a bus, transport, all other books, uniforms, everything you include, it is quite high. So how to do that part of it? Second, third is 25% save before the child turns 5. That is very, very important. And I always thank Anil and the things that I started investing from the first month of the baby born. So I keep saying, I'm not saying everybody should do first month, but at least when you have a first function, first year, where they get a good amount of gifts from the parents, grandparents, and everything, that is a good way to start off. But earlier the better, you will realize it is a very, very good happening over it. So I'll give my example. In 2015, I think so, we both was the first time have gone to the vacation, and that time actually it was our 15th, I think so, anniversary, and that time we have not taken our kids. And in the middle of the air, I am telling Anil, Anil is my husband and CEO and founder of Writer Horizon also. So if we both die, what will happen? And being a Christian, the godparent kind of concept is there. So I said, okay, somebody will take care of a kid, but who will take care of the education? So that was the such a clear, I felt still was clear that okay, they have a good portfolio for at least education, nobody will get burdened. So sometimes, very clearly, we should make it very clear that when the kid is born, you open nowadays, it takes not even one day in any banks to open the kids' education, kid banking, and start SIPs or whatever the whenever they get the festival money or something. I just keep putting on those. So that's another things which I keep saying. It is very easy. It's a peace of mind for you also sometimes to take care. Okay, that educations are taken care of. 90% consider using retirement saving for an education, and that's a very, very common. And I keep saying people don't use the retirement money people have taken from PF, PPF, and given to the for an education. I have seen a person very clearly saying, okay, I have this plot or this land, I will take care. But when the son was going abroad, they were not able to sell. And then you can't say that two people have actually they got it in Ivy League, but they were not able to do because financials they were not able to do it. So many times there is another thing we have to see. We may presume, we may think, but liquidity is also one of those things. So please don't, I keep telling, there is as of today there is no loan for a retirement, but education loan is there. So please don't use a retirement savings for an education, because it may be there previously, but yes, as a parents, we have to support, we should take care of it, but we have to take care of our own also. So please don't touch the retirement corpus most of the time. So I'll just
For most parents, planning for a child's higher education is one of the highest priority needs. Now, how do you go about it? The first is to be able to assess what is a likely amount of this education for your child. Many times it's too early to be able to even decide on which is likely to be the area that the child is going to pursue, which is fine. Start off with something of an average requirement, and every 2 to 3 years go back and review it, and possibly as you come closer to the requirement you will find that you have more clarity and you will be able to plan much better in the later years. But unless you start early, you will not be able to build up sufficient corpus towards achieving it. Now, if you have a few needs, like you want to plan for overseas education or even for medicine, now those can have much higher cost, so you need to plan for a much larger amount. So those are aspects that you will have to keep in mind, and it can have a significant impact on your personal finances. Now, how do you invest into, once you plan and have understood, okay, this is how much you want to plan for. We suggest look at a combination of avenues. If it's a very long-term need, then you can look at equities. You can make money work for you better, so the returns are better towards achieving it. But as you come closer to your requirement, you should actually keep reducing the risk involved so that you are able to achieve it in a much better way and it's not linked to market cycles. So, in summary, plan ahead, invest in a diversified way, and also possibly look at whether the need requires an additional life cover, and if it requires, please use an additional life
So this reminds me sometimes when we are going, and this is very common, including our kid. If I ask now also to my son what you're going to do, so they keep saying, "So I don't know what I'm studying. I'll be doing the same work or not." So it is okay if the kid is not clear what they wanted to do. It is okay if you are not sure. So I always says you can plan for like a graduation of 20-25 lakhs, so then they can decide you want an architecture or engineering or a BCom, or you wanted to do masters or later. But start investing. So it doesn't need that if they don't have a clarity, we should also not plan for, because that's another concept people have been saying. The kid is not sure, we don't know what they're going to do, so how we can plan for it. So I keep saying that in the currency or the money, there is nothing name as and gross that saying that okay, this is only for engineering. That money can be used for anything, so it's better we start planning, because as a parents we also know that it'll at least take 20 to 25 lakhs if they have to do a graduation. So how to go about it? So first question we have to ask that where you want to be, so and by when. So we have to realize, let us say our kid is around 5 years now, so by normally by 18 or 18 and a half, depending on the when they are born, they will be starting their degree. Okay. So now where you wanted to be, let us say after 13 years, you wanted to have, let us say normal engineering, or I normally says BCom, BSc, BBA, whatever it is, or you're doing the architecture, now you're doing lawyer, you do anything as a graduation. We call a graduation, in abroad they call undergrad. So it's a graduation is normally costing around 20 lakhs odd. So you will decide that I have it around 20 lakhs as on today value, and I need after 13 years. So I will of course take care of that calculation. So how much I wanted to keep it in total when he is or she is around 18 years. So that's the first is like your, I keep giving this example so many times because we use day to day and we are not using in the long term. When we are, I just came today, I had a morning meeting at 7 o'clock. I'm in a Bangalore South, and I have to travel to the MG Road. So it is mostly 40-45 minutes in early morning Saturday. So first thing I do it, I go to the Google Map and checked across that I'm going to the Boring Institute, how much time it takes. And then it'll give the two routes, and I took that accordingly. The same things whenever we have a planning, the first way is to just enter the destination. And from the destination, it'll keep saying, and today was the same thing in the middle of the Delhi Circle route, it is jam. And then it was a roadblock, and then we have to go around about it. So same thing happen in a planning also. In between, you may have some other requirement of the money, or you may not be able to invest what is required. So it may take a little longer. It will say giving a different route, it will reroute it. The same way it works in a planning. So please, first is to put the destination, and destination is your number of which year you wanted to do and how much money you want as on today. So where you are now, so that's a very important. So they will ask next question in the GP also, where you are. That only you can say it's a starting point. So when you have a starting point, lot of time people will say that okay, I as recently met somebody and they says okay, whatever rent I'm getting, I can start giving a rental money, or I have got some money. My their grandparents has given some. in gift, like a 1 lakh, 2 lakhs. I have put it in their FDs. So something most of us will keep it money, or we have it in our mind that this money we will be using for a kid's education. You will say that, okay, this where I am now. So I have now 1 or 2 lakhs in our FDs. I can give it around 20,000 or 30,000 rupees per month for child education. So this will talk about where you are, then how to get there. So it's like this: when you have a, I'm sure when you go to the Google map, it will say three things: you are going in a car, you are going in a bike, you are going by walk, you are taking a transport. It will give you the different timings. I'm sure if you otherwise you'll just see yourself, it will say 45 minutes by car and 30 minutes by bike. Auto is 45 or 50, and bus or metro may take 1.5 hour because you have a changeover or going a little far away. So same thing here, how to get there. That's very important, how to get there. So you may go fast, you may go slow, you wanted to take a combination of all of those, you wanted to be secured. So it's a same option works here. So because it is long term, you may take little higher risk. You can say, okay, I wanted to invest in equities, or you wanted to be very safer. So I always says what I have done for a kids when they're born. I have taken one insurance, which is a waiver of income. So in case if I'm not there, the insurance will pay, because equity will be paying only what I have paying, and then giving a appreciation. But if I die, SIPs are not happening for them. So how you take care of a combination of a debt and equity, taking care of a risk perspective, and if I continue till their 18 years, I will be safe to make sure that their education has been there. So when we were coming today, we were having this function where we go and meet the entrepreneur and understand their journey, their failures, and see how we can help it. So today they were saying the same thing. Their kid is asking that they wanted to go and study in Canada for 2.5 crore. So they're saying, what about your son? And I said, I told the same thing. It's easy for us as a parent to say that, okay, I am okay to give it as a finance or not, but you have to first go and get the admission in the good college. Just getting in a college doesn't make sense, because half of the places you're not getting a job, so you're coming back to India and it is the same value. So you have to understand that you should get it into the good Ivy League or good colleges, where you are able to spend money and you are able to get the job. So it is both the side works, that their hard work plus your planning, it takes care of it. So most of the time when we are doing an education for the kids, it takes 14 to 15 years. So you should review periodically. I normally says at least once in a year. It makes sense. And every 3 years, because kids growing, they will start thinking what they like it and all. Over, I think so. Most of the time, people are able to understand around 12 to 15 years when they are there, what kind of liking the kid is having. Otherwise, no worries. You just continue on an average around 20 to 25 lakhs perspective part of it. But don't oversee. That's another side. I have seen a few people, this is, no, I see everyday portfolios, something. So that then I said, don't get your anxiety and your things go so high when you are wanted to see investment every year, because your son and daughter is not 18. So if your son and daughter is not 18, that money, what you are going to do? Even if you remove and put it in FDs, again you are safe back to square one. So please try to understand some concept in liking is, move your whatever investment linked to your goals, and check according to your goals. Don't worry about ki market is giving me something, or my neighbor is saying something, or whatever it is. You have decided, which is a very conservative, that if I am doing 12,000 rupees SIP continuously for 15 years, it will give you 50 lakhs plus. So please continue. It may give you more, but just try to be sticking to your goals, stick mapping to your investments and the duration. You believe me or not, I am doing for 30 years. For my daughter is 25. I've done for 25 years for her and 18 years for my son. And it is giving across wonderfully well. So how to go education planning is, as I say, try to have a target. estimate the cost. So this is another thing people says that now my son is only 2 years or 3 years. I don't know what is the cost. Or sometimes it says, okay, my daughter. This is the recently we have done it last year. That's the first time for me also. That person says I wanted to go abroad and doing education on the music. So most of the time I have done on an education planning and other things on the academic wise, like a master degree or PhD kind of it, but not on the music. And when we started looking in India and even abroad, the music itself was coming almost like a 10 lakhs plus in the in India per year. And now 4 years, and in abroad it was coming almost 2.5 to 3 crore plus. So sometimes these estimations are very, very clear because some are just certificate, not a degree. So there's a lot of difference between when you're doing a degree versus you are doing the certifications. So try to find it out those details in what you are looking across. Calculating the amount at the maturity, which I'm going to explain now, and the return. So it is very linked to the return. It's like a high risk, high return perspective, it is. And how you are trying to calculate the money you need to save a monthly and the yearly. So I'll just do the calculation. Please let me know if you are able to see my calculator.
No, ma'am.
I'm just looking. So again, coming back to say. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So is it big or you want me to make it more big?
No, it's
Is it
enough,
clear?
ma'am. It's clear.
Okay. So I'm going to do this into two different part actually, as most of the time when we do financial, what you call education, kids education, we do for kids education for a graduation and kids education for the masters. So when we are doing for a masters, most of the people I tell if it is too high abroad or also in India, you can take an education loan. And if they're working going for an abroad, so most of the time they can actually you just plan for the first 6 months or a year. Most of the graduation and masters are 1 year or 2 years, so you can they can work there part time and then take care of it. So I'll just take care now higher education with the different queries where we can make it across 50 lakhs, and that's what my thought was. It's not difficult to make 50 lakhs if you have started early. So when I have started around 40K as an SIP for the kids, we were able to make much, much more when they were 18 plus. So we are just taking an education cost as 20 lakhs now. We can take anything, most of the places, if they are doing a graduation for like my son, it's a BA, BBK, BCom kind of it. It is 5 lakhs a month. But if they are doing in engineering or the architecture, it's a 25 lakhs. On a law also, it's 25 lakhs in Indian perspective. I'm taking inflation as a 8%, but in a reality which I have seen, the fees goes much higher than 8. But here, for a sake of a calculation, I'm taking a 8. When normal, when I was doing research even yesterday and many more times, people say you should take it as the 10% perspective. You can do that, but I'm trying to say. So if then this data you have to just enter wherever as of today your kids old are. So I met last per week, I think, so person who was 3 years old kid. So we did that for 18 years. When she is going to be 18, how much money is required? So I am just going to explain the formula here. So there is nothing rocket science what I'm doing it. I'm just trying to do formula. So we says rate. Rate is a inflation. I have taken 8% if you see the B3. So B3 is 8% here. Then N par is the duration. So how we are saying 18 when we need the money at 18 and the kid is 3 years old. So I'm just doing 18 minus 3, which is 15 here if you see. And what is the present value? So PV is we call the present value. And so we are trying to say as on today, the value for education is 25. So 25. So when the baby or when the kid is become 18, the today's 25 lakhs is almost going to be, let us say, 80 lakhs. So this is what we know now. That's first step of saying that how much we need and by when. So we need after 15 years around 80 lakhs if I have a kid of 3 years old. So how to derive that? So let us I'll go back to 50 lakhs. It's a easier one. I'll do two calculation here. So if I wanted to make a 50 lakhs approximately, I need a 16,000 as a monthly investment. And the same way we should do it for the kid who is now 5 years old and you wanted a money in a master's. So 20 lakhs as on today for a master's, 20 lakhs is little less. So if I wanted to do the masters for the kid, I wanted to have 30 lakhs as on today value, but I required when the kid is 22 years old. So that time it is going to be around, we call 1.1 crore it is going to be. So how I have to do? So they says that 1.1 crore is required when the kid is 22. If I have as on today 16 lakhs, and I invest in any, I can say, product which is giving me 12 lakhs, will give me 1.1 crore. Okay. Or I invested yearly 2.2 lakhs rupees, is going to give it to me 1.1 crore after a 22 minus 5, 17 years later. Or I have to invest around 18,000, or you can say 19 because 18,900. So you can say if I am taking care of 18,000 or 19,000 SIP for a master's, 16,000 for a graduation, I am sure short, no rocket science here. Then when the kid is around 18 years and when kid is 22 lakhs, 22 years, I will be getting this money. And that's the way we try to map and track all these goals every time. So now the another thing is come lot of time people have said, Rachna, because nowadays PMS is coming as a one of the new things. So people says, okay, I am giving you one time money. So if you see here, when I was doing, I've done very recently for one other customer also. He gave me the 50 lakhs rupees as a PMS and he said, I am just keeping it for my daughter. So this money, I will not touch it. When it's in 18, you will take care of the education and the masters. So there is another way. A lot of time people do have a lump sum sometimes and they are doing this. But I personally believe that doing a monthly investments is the best thing. And whenever they get from parents, grandparents, any of the things, that also makes easier sense. So I'll just go across for the two things. Um, so let us say if we wanted to do 50 lakhs and I have a 15 years, the kid is going to become 18 years old. I just need to do a 10,000 SIP. So what this means is if I do 10,000 rupees SIP for 15 years, where I'm expecting a 12% returns, I will get the 50 lakhs. So that question comes to so many times people that how you know you will get 12% returns. Okay. So my answer is normally the good thing in our business is number speaks more than us. So I always says you should look the data because not only in Indian data, you can see abroad data, whatever market data. So when you see 10 years rolling returns, 15 years rolling returns, you will always get in equity between 12 to 14% returns. So normally being a conservative, I take 12, but you may take it as a 14 also, but 12% to 14%, keeping a timeline of 10 to 5 years. The problem is most of them, they said, I had started, it was so down, it was red, so it is better than FD, I must have taken, and they remove. And you're neither your power of compounding come nor the returns has come. So this return is called year on year, XIR, CGA, whatever you can say, but that works when you stay long, because market is having the bull and bear we call, which is called as 8 to 9 years cycles. So if you remember in 1992, like is a Harshit Mehta scam which is gone minus 40% down, then you have a dot-com burst in 2000. 2008 was Lehman Brothers minus 65%, which is the highest down, we call drawdown. You have a 2009 where the COVID came. So most of the time your names are maybe different wherever the highest drawdown happens. But every 8 or 9 years your has been happened. Up and down of 10 to 12% is a very common thing, but most of the time. So if you are investing in an SIP, you're getting power of compounding, you're getting an averaging. So it is always good to take care of both the cycles. So if you enter only, let us say, in the bear cycle or the low cycle, and you exit also in the low, you may not get it, you may get it a minus. So that is the one of the reason you should make sure whenever you are doing for a kids and the retirement, you stay long. Stay. So I always tell people when somebody comes to me, how you why somebody require an advisor or something, so I tell them, you don't I need an advisor if you have enough time or you are able to take care of your fear and greed. Most of us are not able to take care of our fear and greed. The advisor required as a value add is not a price, it's a value add for you to make sure you are achieving your goals. You are able to take care of fear and greed, because we take a logical calls versus most of the emotional calls. And third thing, I called very recently my person, and she says, that's now, and which is also there for so many other customer, that Red Horizon is my retirement plan. I said, why? So saying no, because everything you have it, and in my will I have written that if something happens, you should go to the Right Horizon and they will take care. So I am trying to say there are so many different cases study, but how to make sure you achieve the goals in the plan is very important than anything else. Including me, I keep telling people that I want to reduce the weight. I get hajar messages, you do this intermittent fasting, you do this, you do that, it doesn't matter. So when I have to go, I have started taking 1:1 person who helped me in yoga, it may helping in dietitian, it may help. So that's where, so somebody is customizing for you and that helps you, it makes much more difference than having a generic part of it. How to make much on the monthly, it's very very good. I keep doing last 30 years. I've started SIP from 94 and I have been doing till date, and till the goal comes I have not even seen my corpus, because I always believe that your power of compounding comes and the discipline comes when you have both the side of the market. So please, thinking long term, you're thinking long term, and disciplined person is going to make money, not actually the person who have more money. This I have seen many many times, quite a lot of time, that people who earns more doesn't have a good portfolios. So uh, target corpus, let us say 50 lakhs. It's, if I am taking a 15 years, I just need only 10K. It's actually not a big money, but as the time horizon reduce, your compounding is going down, and you will see that the monthly is keep increasing. So if it is 10 years, it's 21K. It is 5 years, it's just a 60K across. So the bottom line is start early. So it doesn't get impacted and it doesn't get stress level. So you will surprised to know the people stress levels are high for two reasons. One is your health and the relationship, and the second is the finance. So what is the real cost? That is again a things now you have to start doing. On an average, as I told you, that most of the places it's 1.5 to 2 lakhs is coming, which we are assuming that you are taking care with the household expenses. But medical cost is around 50 to 60 lakhs if you are in India and getting seats. If you start paying the capitation fees, it may be much more. IIMs and MBAs are around 25 lakhs. Abroad is different in different people, because today morning somebody has gone to France. I think so next week they're going to Ireland. So those places, the abroads are less and they have more scholarships. But if you're going to, let us say, Canada, US, Australia, UK, minimum is 1.5 crore plus. Education inflation is around, you can think of 8 to 10, which is I have taken on an a conservative side, which can be goes little higher also. So I'll just see what people do when they wanted to take care of the kids' education. If somebody is doing nowadays, it's a new fad. I always says if it is 50 lakhs, people just put it as a one time for a kids. But if most of the time, including me, I have seen when my mom and they have given like a 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, some money, we can put it in a mutual funds and then do it. Mutual funds, I love child gift funds. There are only two child gift funds. I'll give you the pros and cons. My both the kids have it. Being a hybrid funds, hybrid means 70% equity and 30% debt. It has given me around 16% return, which is much bigger than the equity I can think of. But the negative part in a child gift fund is these are lock-in. So good thing is when you invest, it'll go and use in their name only, but when it mature, it'll go in the kid's account because it is locked until 18 years of the kid. And after 18 years, the kid is becoming matured. So the bank account, PAN, and everything will become independent. So when you redeem the money, that will go into their bank account where you require their signature. So some people have come back to me and they says, Rachna, when they are old and we don't know how is their friend circle or something, if they don't give the money from their bank, how I can fund it? So I should have a control on my saving for the kids' education. So that is the only time people have not used the child gift fund. For me, why I use child gift fund for three reasons. One is actually it is a lock-in. So even for a small things, we don't redeem it. Second thing is it is in hybrid, which is not taking a higher risk. And third is being in hybrid, it is giving a good returns also. But this is the negative part in the child gift funds. But you can do any SIP in any other funds. So, but what I have noticed it when they started with any large cap, mid cap, small cap funds or a multi cap funds. What happened when they required for smallest thing, and they said, no, this is emergency. We will take care of the kids' education little later. We will redeem it, and they redeem, and then it get impacted. And that's another things where I keep saying, if you have why a lot of time people are going to Sukanya Samriddhi or LIC for a kid's education because it is lock-in. So when it comes, it will comes itself. Even though I'm not so keen on Sukanya Samriddhi, I will just come back to you on a reasoning. uh, Third one, which most of the people I say, and I do, I know it is not so lucrative, but it is a peace of mind kind of it, that you are giving a traditional any of the insurance where sum assured is taken care of. So if something happens to me, it's called waiver of income premium. So if something happens to the parents, that you don't have to pay the premium, but when the kid is 18, that full sum assured is being paid to the kid. So that is just countering the risk management kind of it. People who wants the kids to go across abroad, so they do international funds, so you don't have a double side sword of market plus currency variations. So they do in a USDs also. So Kenya Samriddhi and the bond is another things people does it. Lot of time people says it is good. Previously, it was good because in you can say in a old regime you can claim as a tax benefit. Now most of them are in new regime, so they cannot. Second is it is like your PPF kind of it. PPF is 7.1% returns, which is good in a tax free for a retirement. But for the kid, I say always when you are doing an SIP or something in a long run, because this is also linked till 21 years, not even 18. So can somebody is till 21 years, and if I'm keeping till 21 years, why not I get 12 to 14% returns? So that's what my thought is. And even though it is good for the child, girl child, but I normally recommend it to go to the mutual funds. Balance it as the kids grows. So if the kid is around 7 8 years, also going into 80% equity is good. Rest you can manage either bonds or the insurance. When the kid is around 15 odd, you should start balancing and come back to the debt side when they are. So this reminds me, I have few people whom I know. They have said, no, no, I have taken care of kids' education because I've kept this plot or kept this house, which I will sell it and do it. And they were not able to sell it, and their son was going to UK and US, one of the person, and it was tough to get in that college, but they were not able to clear the finance, and it is not. So sometimes we do think that we will be able to sell illiquid things when the things comes. That takes time, and sometimes market is not good, you may not get it across. So sometimes it is good at least 1 or 2 years before the goals comes, like a your kid is going to be 18 after 2 years, you make sure either the fund is in balance fund or in a debt fund. It's not going to impact when they get the overall people. Mistakes are often by parents is starting too late. That's one thing I have noticed. It corporate shortfall happens because they're starting so late. It's late means I can say people have come back to me. My kid is 13 years old, Rachna, now how to do it. So it's not that we can't do. I always tell them we can start it, we can do it, but 13 to 18 is just a 5 years. You can't think of so high power of compounding. You may have a market fall. And if it is debt funds or conservative, you will get only 5 to 6%, maximum or 7%. So, how to manage those? Either you should have a good corpus, of course, otherwise, it's a very difficult to do it in a short. So, good time. I have seen people normally after 5.5 years, also they do. They all are able to manage it. Ignoring the inflation. So ignoring inflation also, and sometimes currency. So when we were planning for one person, their daughter was around 5 6 years old, and dollar was around 54 55, and accordingly we did it. When their daughter was going, the dollar was around 84. So it is so many times when you are ignoring the inflation or the dollar currency, I can say difference. It also makes a lot of things. So we have to make sure when you're planning for an abroad, how the currency variation comes. So many times, of course, for even including marriage, I have not had added here. The kids normally people do it for the degree, master, and for a marriage. They said, yeah, yeah, we have a goal, we will take care and all this stuff. But what happened in gold is a very emotional things. It's easy to say than difficult to sell. So most of the time, people either doing it in FD, which is they all are in 30% bracket. So by the time you get only 4.5%, 5% returns or gold, so that's not able to take care. Going purely on insurance and bond doesn't make much things, because insurance is good to take care of a risk, but not take care of the inflation plus good returns, because insurance by default will give around 6.5% return, which is tax free, which is good because it's taking care of waiver of income. But just putting everything, it doesn't need. So I'm just trying to say, if I wanted a 70 lakhs sum assured, so 70 means I need a 7 lakhs rupees in a things which is very high. But if I put 7 lakhs in a mutual fund, I must have got it better off. Another thing is, a lot of time people says, yeah, yeah, we will get a loan or a scholarship. It's not that people don't get it, but it is tough because now the highest NPA or the things are coming on the education loan. So it's very tough. Nowadays, school educations also linked to the college, where they can give so much of scholarship or not. Previously, it was only on financials. Now it's not only on the financial, it is on the college what you're going to join. So that's also makes a lot of difference part of it.
Overseas education for many parents and children is becoming the first preference. So it's important to plan for it in advance because the amounts that you need to plan for are much higher. The first step is to try and assess how much is it that you need. You need to study what are the various courses, how much is likely to cost. Let me talk to a few other parents. There are various institutes which support children who would like to study overseas. You can maybe consult with them, and you will then be in a better position to plan for your requirement. Once you have a broad requirement set out, saying that you want to plan for let's say a crore, then it comes back to seeing that how much and how you can invest it. So start early. You could also move some of your investments overseas so that you are also able to manage currency risk. Of course, today, even if you have not done it, you can easily transfer larger sums of money overseas for children's education without too much of a problem. But the only exposure you have is to currency risk. One aspect that you also need to plan for is for the accommodation apart from just the course fee. So sometimes parents just oversee it and then it goes up a little higher than what they planned for. And especially if you would not like your child to work while studying, because that's definitely an option for children to also partly fund their own education. You can also take an education loan, and they are readily available today. There's documentation towards it, and one can also make your child be a little bit more financially disciplined and make him also to start repaying it once he starts working, he or she starts working.
So key takeaway from this is start early, even small SIP. So for me, of course, my dad was in army, so I always says that the discipline came by birth, kind of it. So I always says it's not the amount of an SIP; it's a discipline and long term thinking is making a people rich. I can bet you because I am meeting on an average 2 to 3 new people, and that's what I love about my job because I learn from them. That it is not that they didn't have a money, they started, they redeemed, they do this. They didn't continue for a long. They didn't have a discipline for that. Review and rebalance regularly. For me, regularly can be maximum twice in a year or a yearly. That's a good thing. Account for an inflation. Protect the future with an insurance. At least waiver of income, one, we should have it. If you are not okay, it's better to have a professional advice because you are taking care. So I keep saying you can't say that, okay, I cannot do it because market is low or COVID is there or war is happening. You still need to take care of the kids' education when the kids are 18. So 18 is not linked to the market. 18 is their age. So how to make sure we are planned when they are 18 is very good. So I think so professional people are being used to of doing this. Happy to do that. With this, I am winding it up and having a good questionnaire, or if you have any help, happy to help you.